Good morning. It is November 13th, but it is. Welcome to my channel. I'd be that Sequential Geek. Thanks for swinging by. I got so many comics. I mean, shit. Where do I start? Spent a lot of money. It's his first appearance of Old Man Logan. First appearance of the Hulk gang. Bobby Joe Banner, Charlie Banner. Otis. We all know Otis Banner, right? There he is right there getting cut in half. This is out of cover date August 2008. This is pretty much Mark Millar's swan song to Marvel with art by Steve McNiven. Keep wanting to say McLovin. No. Actually, Steve McNiven. It's like his pen name. So, fucking awesome looking cover right there. And that, yeah, man, talk about oases in a desert by 2008. I mean, what you got, like, what was it, Dark Avengers was around that time, and you had Immortal Iron Fist, and then you had this Wolverine Old Man Logan story. There really wasn't much really goodness out there from the big two. I got dark times. It's like the beginning, well into the beginning of the end. And Mark Millar has left his mark on the world, so he can go off and do his own, create his own intellectual property. Yeah, I got $50 for the Wolverine 66 on the left, and that was $30 for that fifth cover, first printing of issue 66, with Otis getting sliced in half. Issue 67 and issue 67 cover C. It's the first appearance of Hammer Falls location, the Ghost Riders gang, Ultron 8, and Spider-Man's youngest daughter, Tonya, ended up having a kid with Mr. Clint Barton, Tonya Barton Parker, and her daughter, Ashley Barton. The first appearance of Spider-Bitch right here. Wolverine Old Man Logan number 67. On the left, that was $15, and there were both actually for $15. Here's issue number 68, and here's issue number 69. 69 on the right is the first appearance of Venomized T-Rex. Remember that little kid that had the Hank Pym Ant-Man helmet on? Yeah, it's Mr. Dwight Barrett. He's in Des Moines, guarding a bridge. That's right. His first appearance is in issue number 70. Cover date March 2009. That's right, March 2009, people. Yeah, most of these Old Man Logan comics were actually just around like $15. So here we go with Wolverine Old Man Logan. Issue number 71. And on the right is 71B cover. That first printing. His face all shot up. Feels like me after the past 2.5 years. Brilliant idea. So fucking cool. And there's issue 71 out of April 2009. And in May 2009, issue 72. On the left here, that is issue 72, cover A. And on the right, even though it says second printing, it's marked as 07221. So So that last one is first printing. So it's cover B. So on the left right there, that was around 15 bucks. And on the right, that came out to $47. 47. Also for around like 12, 15 bucks was this Wolverine Old Man Logan giant size. Issue number 1. It is the last chapter in the Old Man Logan story arc. Although I'm not a big fan of Wizard magazine, I did get it for the Steve McNiven cover. It's around like 17 bucks. And of course I got to get all these in newsstand. That newsstand copy. Old Man Logan's first appearance of Otis, Bobby Joe, and Charlie Banner. August 2008. Oh, that's right. All of them. Newsstand, issue number 67. First appearance of Ashley Barton, Spider Bitch. Number 68 in newsstand. That's right. 69. First appearance, Venomized T-Rex, January 2009. Oh, shit. It's another newsstand? Really? Fuck yeah, it is. Number 70. Number 71. Number 72. And the last part, Old Man Logan, number 10. Is that a Steve McNiven autograph? I am not sure who that is. Ink on the cover. All those newsstands copies I bought together, they averaged out about 28 bucks an issue. FYI. This Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions, issue 2 of a 3-issue limited series. It's pretty not bad shape. Just for $6. And this is 1982. It's like the event before the event. I don't think anybody saw this coming. It's a 3-issue limited series. I think there was a Vision and Scarlet Witch 3-issue limited series that came out around this time. You got the Grandmaster and the Collector. They gathered every single hero together in like some type of stadium out in space. They just pick and chose their own teams to fight against each other. 3-on-3 over here. And yeah, this battles lasted for 3 issues, and it was just a great introduction if you were new to Marvel. Certain characters. Early She-Hulk. Rundown on character descriptions. Learn karate. Yeah, it's a July 1982 cover date. John Romita Jr. with Babyface Latent Inks. As you can see right there. He signed it as Babyface. La Peregrine, France's superhero. His first appearance is in this. It's kind of like a French version of Falcon. And then you got Talisman, an Aborigine mystic with powerful abilities stemming from the Dreamtime Dimension. He controls all these types of interdimensional energies with his bull roar deal. Mark Grunwald, Steve Grant, Bill Mantlo co-plotted this little story here with Bill Mantlo scripting. And although that is John Romita for the interiors, the inks are Pablo Marcos. Yeah, this issue completes what my doubles of newsstand and direct for this. It's just because it's been so common finding these. Not so common finding it in VF condition, though. That's why I bought it. All right, and then I just got this single issue of Miracle Man, issue number 5. This is reprints of the Warrior magazine when Alan Moore in 1982 to like 1984, he had retconned the history of Miracle Man. So all the stories that were written by Mick Anglo from the 1950s, the Golden Age, were all simulations. While some secret agency of the British government had created their own person, this guy that we all know as Miracle Man, originally known as Marvel Man. They used some alien technology, some alien DNA, they reverse engineered it, and then created this guy that would be stored in infra space. And then when this guy, this human, Mike Moran, says a word, Komoda, the word atomic backwards, he will then switch places with this Marvel Man / Miracle Man body, superhuman body that they created. But his consciousness, his memories, more like his memories will be transferred to this being, this superhuman being that they created. Ends up becoming like a god. And then the Mike Moran person ends up just becoming an avatar for this science fiction man god that they created. Marvel Man / Miracle Man. Because Alan Moore, he took the Golden Age stories, made it all like a simulation. While the British government were working on their experiments, and the Mike Moran guy had forgotten everything that he had gone through, who he was. He just thought he was some reporter. And then in the Alan Moore retcon, he thinks he's a reporter. He somehow remembers that he's Marvel Man because he sees the reflection of the word atomic while being held hostage with a group of people by some terrorists. And then, yeah, all of a sudden when he says the word, he sees that reflection of the word atomic. He says it, Komoda, and he becomes Marvel Man and remembers everything. In the mid-'80s, under the Eclipse title, they have to, because of Marvel's copyright restrictions and, competition, they have to remove the term Marvel Man and change it to Miracle Man. Stories are still by Alan Moore, and then he started writing his own stories. After issue number 5, issue number 6 still has some reprints, and then it has some new stories. It's like a mix. And then from 7 onward, believe they're all new stories. No, I think there's one issue, like issue number 8 or 9, that's just all Mick Anglo reprints. And then the rest are all Alan Moore stories. Alan Moore's legendary run with John Tottleman starts with issue 11. But the first 5 issues are all Warrior magazine reprints from 82-84. That's an anthology. The first 21 issues of which was the Marvel Man stories written by Alan Moore. So they started off reprinting those stories here in Eclipse Comics, and then Alan Moore continued the Miracle Man saga, which lasted until issue 24. Neil Gaiman took over issue 17 to issue 24. These Machine Man comics are reprints 10 years later after the 1984 4-issue Machine Man limited series. That limited series, just like these reprints, are written by Tom DeFalco. He had taken over from Steve Ditko from that original Machine Man comic book run. I think it ran for like 18 or 19 issues. Started off by Jack Kirby, then Steve Ditko, and then Tom DeFalco took over the story. After the original Machine Man comic book ended, a few years later, you had the Machine Man 4-issue limited series out of 1984. This series right here. It's reprinting 10 years later in 1994. Issues 1 and 2 and issues 3 and 4. Got both of these for $4 a piece. Nice direct edition reprints of that. It's really 1984. It's a classic story. Classic 1984. I see Barry Windsor Smith as a great Copper Age artist. Him and Bill Sienkiewicz. John Romita Jr. John Byrne. Some artist names that strike me as gaining their claim to fame from the 80s, including Frank Miller. All right. And this, yes, 10 years later, we got the reprint, issue number 2 that's reprinted. And this first issue is the first appearance of Arno Stark, Iron Man 2020. Check it out, newsstand. Yes, for $6, Aliens vs. Predator. Annual #1 in newsstand. Who did that cover? Think about it. Who did this? I had no idea. I just like the style of it, and I realized it's Jay Lee. Pretty cool. Yeah, like Dungeons and Dragons. Death is just the beginning. R.I.P. So they had an 8-issue run for these TSR game comics. Found this gem, just issue number 4. 2 4-issue story arcs. And then there's some more afterwards. But as far as I understand, in 1990, these TSR Comics modules, when they first started printing them, it's 8 issues, and this was the first 4-issue story arc. Just found out about this randomly, found this over at local comic shop, Vision Comics and Oddities, and I went online and got the remaining first 3 issues I wanted to get for this. So apparently issue 2 has the cover by Linsner. I am not sure who the artist is here. If anybody has any feedback on who this kick-ass artist is, let me know. Yeah, pretty cool. I looked up the later issues, by the way. They had a lot of known artists working on these TSR gaming module comics. Is that Buzz Dixon, Marv Wolfman, Pat Olive. Here's a book from, I think, just over 20 years ago. Magdalena Vampirella. Art Adams Goodness. Dynamic Forces. This is Magdalena Vampirella #1. Dynamic Forces exclusive cover. It's one of a specifically limited series of 2,500 copies. It's even got the seal. I don't mind Dynamic Forces variant covers and signature comics. I've been buying Dynamic Forces comics, covers and stuff. Far and few between, but I still buy them off and on from their website since early 2000s, for the past 20 years, essentially. But I saw this. This was like a $4 comic, and just figured I'm not too big of a Magdalena Vampirella fan, unlike a lot of the other channels I follow. Yeah, man, Art Adams. Shit, when I saw that tree, just the design of everything in general, just, I was like, is that Richard Corbin? But no, it's Art Adams. All right. All right, let's get into a couple of free comic book day issues. We got ourselves at EC, an Entertaining Comics Sampler. It's out of 2008. Free comic book day. Really nice condition. I don't know how common those are. Found a couple of these, and decided to get both since they were just $3 a piece. Early 1950s reprints. This is Wally Wood cover from Tales from the Crypt number 26. And you got 4 stories inside. Free Comic Book Day, Malika. Creed and Fury. It's out of 2018. So Malika, I don't know the story. This is just from when I looked up. I like the idea of her, and I've gotten some other Malika Free Comic Book Day comics, and I hadn't seen this one, so I decided to grab it. It's $3. 2018, recovering from a spell put on her that made her sleep for 500 years. She wakes up in the year 2024 in Abuja, Nigeria. And then there's this domestic terrorist organization called Creed, right? And they're attacking her and Fury, which is this speedster ally of hers. That's the information I got so far. Royo Okupe is the creator. You can see the name there. Something to keep an eye out for. I saw this Malika Creed and Fury Free Comic Book Day comic. I thought I had all the Malika Free Comic Book Day comics from Unique Studios. So I got this one. Superhero out of Africa. Pretty cool. X-Women. This is a one-shot by Chris Claremont. Art by Milo Manara. September 2010 cover date. 48-page story inside. All yours for $20. Holla. One of the few images of someone smoking in a modern Marvel comic. I love Milo Manara. Thank you for Milo Manara. The Death of James McDonald Hudson. Apparently also Smart Alec. I think that villain could bring copies of himself? Not necessarily copies of himself, but he can bring himself from the future. So then he could bring infinite number of moments in the future. So he could bring an infinite number of himselves from the future. And then during this battle, one of them dies and he freaks out because he figures now he's done. He doesn't know which one of himself from the future it was. And so anyway, that dude, Smart Alec, dies in this issue. Apparently also Box. I don't recall that though, but I remember James McDonald Hudson dying at the end of this. This first 12 issues of Alpha Flight, issue 13, is Heather Hudson. She gets a visit from Wolverine. Stops by and checks on her after James McDonald Hudson's death. James McDonald Hudson is one of the people involved with lacing Logan's skeleton with adamantium. Department H. I think James McDonald Hudson's first appearance was Uncanny X-Men 109? Uncanny X-Men 109. It's out of 1978. So here he is 16 years later. Dead. Originally a 4-issue limited series, then it became a 5-issue limited series. The Punisher. Out of May 1986. Steve Grant plot with Joe Duffy's script. And yes, that is still Mike Zeck doing the interior. Fucking awesome cover. I think around this same time, he had that Transformers limited series that was originally supposed to be 4 issues. Then that changed too. This Punisher series was freaking cool. I didn't really know the Punisher from his appearance in Spider-Man. I didn't like the look. And it looked too old-timey, so to speak. I wasn't interested in it. Didn't matter. I needed something like this. Punisher number 5. $25. Consider this high grade. No creases in the spine. Sharp corners, bright pages. Around that same time, though, this is October 1984. We have the character Lumia turned full-on evil. She turned out to be this apprentice of Darth Vader that was ordered to infiltrate the rebels and infiltrate the emotions of Luke Skywalker. She ended up getting Luke fond of her. He got nice on her. So this is her appearance. It's one of her main appearances, her full-on dark side look. And I don't really know what her name was, though. Was it Lumia? Did it change? I don't recall. I know paying $20 for that newsstand copy is kind of outrageous. I agree with PGH Zombie. For people that were wise enough to wait, like him, y'all are going to get a lot cheaper prices. Those pandemic prices is basically what I paid for this, and you're probably going to get this book for $10. In springtime, in just 6 months. It's also a Joe Duffy story, by the way. It's a Tom Palmer artwork with Bob McLeod inks. If anybody has any information on Lumia, let me know. Just like as far as her story in Star Wars, I know that later on they used her to turn Jason Solo to the dark side. But as far as just the story in Star Wars, shit, let me know, I think I broke one of my rules. Definitely, invest in what you know. I mean, I do look at it as an investment. I like to collect Star Wars and stuff, but I overpaid for this comic, I'll admit. And if you're going to invest, quote unquote, into something and you don't know about it, then probably shouldn't be telling people you paid $20 for something that you don't know about, like how I'm doing. Just to let you know. Yeah. But then I'm like, when am I going to find this again? I just want to get this fucking done. I just want to get this done. Really, I like comics, but then there's some collecting things that I just want done. I just want done. I want to get it over with. And of all these comics that you're going to see, the Old Man Logan stories I wanted to get over with, and then this Star Wars issue. So far from what I'm showing are just two comics I just bought. Just bought it. Wanted to get it over with. I'm done with Star Wars collecting as far as like spending and looking for being super picky about condition and willing to pay a premium. So listen to PGH Zombie, don't listen to me. All right, peace. Oh yeah, speaking of PGH Zombie, this was only this was $10. There's a crease in the spine right there, and that's it. Yeah, altogether, including shipping, $10. Marvel Tales, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. This is the first appearance of the Sinister Six reprint, written by Stan Lee with art by Steve Ditko. Yeah. Pretty fucking cool. Here's the last issue that Steve Ditko did with Stan Lee. Came out in 1966. Amazing Spider-Man 38. It's a reprint of that. This was $12. Not bad. I mean, they're both newsstand too. This has got that one crease in the spine. This one's creaseless. Creaseless. What the fuck? So, newsstand, because for me, 83 is my cutoff point. It doesn't matter if you get it in newsstand or direct. Just get it in VF or better. And then 84 or later, make sure it's a newsstand. It's my personal advice. And then I showed this in a direct, a lot brighter. The colors were popping a lot better. But this one, I mean, let's look at the condition. Let's look at the condition, because this is the Steve Ditko portrait for the 25th anniversary when they were having that 1 month. This is November of 1986, I believe. And, you know, to commemorate Marvel's 25th anniversary, they had a portrait of everybody's face surrounded by these John Romita Sr. and Andrew drawings of all the characters. Ross Andrew, co-creator of Punisher. And this one is a Steve Ditko portrait of Spider-Man that I've always wanted. The red isn't really popping like the direct edition that I had shown in my previous haul, but I wanted to get a newsstand copy of this because I know it's not easy to find. And the corners are looking okay. So, oh heck yeah. Look at that. We got a little bit of like, I don't know what that is, like fading or some type of like some schmutz up here too. But look at how white those pages are. Art isn't really all that bad, but it's not all that sensational. Oh, no shit. I got a Mark Jewelers, didn't even fucking know it. God damn. Wow. So yeah, this makes it even more rare. The military bases had exclusive orders for Mark Jewelers. This was probably bought then on a military base, and chances are it was. I don't know of any other place or something military related. So you got these inserts here, Mark Jewelers inserts, and then this is so that the soldiers can send something special to their loved ones back home so that their baby's mama doesn't leave them. All right. Nice condition. Let's put this back in the bag and board. Didn't know that was Mark Jewelers. Yeah, it always helps to check if it's Mark Jewelers, and it helps to check the inside page. There's nothing here if there's like a signature. Every once in a while, a long while, you might find something. People say that you can look through the top, but just looking through the top of this comic, I don't know. I can't tell if it's Mark Jewelers or not. Some people say they can tell. I can tell that this is a high-grade copy, Mark Jewelers. Just want to show you some Sam Keith gems that I found. I was just looking for newsstand copies of Marvel Comics Presents Sam Keith. Who are fans of Mr. Sam Keith. So I dig them. I'm looking for resaleability though, so that's why I'm getting picky about just getting newsstands and high grade. So went through a stack I found, some lawn boxes at a shop, and just started sorting them, separating them, all the ones with the spine creases. Ended up with these next Marvel Comics Presents Sam Keith covers. So this is issue 90, right? We got Wolverine on one side and Ghost Rider and Cable, Sam Keith on the other. Peter David, Scott Lobdell, Howard Mackey, Steve Bercoletto are the writers. Peter David and Sam Keith did the Wolverine story. Then you also have artists Jay Lee, Guang Yao, and Steve Bucalato doing additional artwork for the stories in this anthology Marvel Comics Presents. Issue number 93. Issue 93 just has this side by Sam Keith, as a matter of fact. Look at that. Fucking Ghost Rider Cable. It grew on me. I was not into this when it first came out, Sam Keith, at all. I had stopped reading around 89, 90, and stopped reading, stopped spending money on comics. And when I would visit, I'd see this and just shake my head. Now I'm like, hell yeah, I got it for $3. This story, issue number 92, is the end of the Peter David, Sam Keith story that they were doing on Wolverine. Sam Keith was still doing the covers, but this one side, this one particular instance, issue 93, it's got the cover by Todd Fox. He's doing a story with another writer, another Wolverine writer. So, yeah, it's out of 1991. Here's issue 94, Sam Keith cover, Ghost Rider. This is 94, Wolverine. It's out of January 1992. Wasn't crazy about this particular cover, but there's only like one spine crease right there. It's a newsstand, so I got it. I really thought this was a cool Ghost Rider cable cover, though. Isn't bad. By Sam Keith. Issue, it's 102, 103. It starts off with a Wolverine Nightcrawler story. And here's the Sam Keith cover on the other side, this time with Doctor Strange. And that issue number 105 is out of May 1992. Found a few newsstand copies, high grade of Spawn. Issue 13, right there. Out of August 1993. It's Todd McFarlane doing the cover, illustration and inks. And on the right, it's the infamous Dave Sims story with Todd McFarlane cover and interior art, 1992. I managed to get issue number 5 as well in newsstand. Todd McFarlane cover, story, art, inks. Yeah, I managed to get a run of newsstand for the first 11 issues. And some of them I got doubles on, some of them I don't. Working on that. Oh, yeah. So Vision Comics and Oddities, they've got a new comic book that they're publishing. Chris Lanham, he's got Odd Mausoleum. Before they were just saying Vision Comics and Oddities, and then it would be like one for Halloween or one for Valentine's Day. Just more seasonal. I think now they got this new comic coming out. I'm not sure if it's going to be every other month or if they're actually going to do it monthly. Odd Mausoleum. 250 copies for this first issue. You got 6 creators or 6 separate stories inside. And for each story, they gave a cover. So you got 40 copies of each cover, 6 times 4, so that's 240 issues. And the guy, AC Canales, who does the main story, the first story is like 6 pages, and then the other ones are 4 pages each. AC Canales is the local artist that is organizing this with Chris, the owner of Vision Comics and Oddities. So AC Canales has got a 6-page story at the beginning, and he also did a 10-issue limited cover. He did 10-issue limited covers. He did one cover that had 10 copies, just that he gave away to his friends. Of the covers that they had, these 2 I dug. There was another one, a third one that I really wanted, but they sold out of it. Well, just supporting local artists. Totally mirrored of types of stories and artwork in here. It's hit or miss for the most part. I really like the stories in here. I like looking at local indie artists just going for it. Here's another one of the covers, real quick. AC Canales. This is the page he used for that 10 copy limited limited edition cover he did. But and just each story is going to be different. This one's pretty good too. Gab's brushstroke 80. This girl's like a magician. She's like, all right, you want to mess with me? She just casts this spell. This evil spirit, owl spirit, gets placed in that sphere. All right. Pretty basic story here with this one. And then I like Jose Salcedo's story though. It's pretty fun. This last one's actually only 3 pages. All right. You smell that? Oh man, I just took this out of the bag. Packaging here. You don't get that stench of smugness. I don't know. On a totally unrelated note, I got this Rambo 3.5, a total of $26. It includes shipping. Written, drawn, created by the infamous Jim Rugg. I dig Jim Rugg. They're all right. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, they're okay. Super talented folks, though. Fucking kick-ass works of art that they do. They are your in-the-know sequential artists. They're so in the know. But this is dope, though. This is cool, though. I got Rambo 3.5, $26. A little very limited, hard to find indie gem here. Landmark in your too cool for school indie culture, if you want to call it that. Got that as a collectible and saw it. Occasionally I'll do a search for Jim Rugg up on the eBay's or Hip Comic or something, so that's what I came up with. I figured $26. Yeah, we'll get it. It's a mini comic that got the Ignatz Award. 2010, I believe. And Rugg got the Ignatz Award for this, which is pretty outstanding because, if I understand correctly, he was quite new to creating comics at this time. $70. What? Hell yeah. I mean, think about my last video when I was showing you those Tundra Press printings of The Crow. They came in 3 volumes, right? The first 2 volumes were reprinting the Caliber Comics 4-issue limited series of The Crow. And then the 3rd issue of Tundra Press did the last issue of The Crow, the 5th issue that was never printed. My point is that, you know, the price of The Crow is getting more and more expensive, but there are some options out there, like the Tundra Press printings, like the kitchen sink hardcover that takes those Tundra Press printings all in one, in addition to the Caliber Comics Presents first appearance of The Crow, and some unused artwork. That also is a collectible for all you Crow fans out there looking for something affordable. This one's getting out of reach. This is Dead World number 10. So in 1988, when Gary Reed had his comic book company in the Detroit area, he took his comic book store, converted one of the offices, just cleared away some space so that he could start printing his own comics, kind of like with Vision Comics and Oddities. Right? These guys, local comic book shop, wanting to print their own comics. Gary Reed had his local comic book shop in the Detroit area, started printing his own comics, Caliber Press. He took over Dead World. Dead World was originally published by Arrow Comics, the first 9 issues. And then from issue 10, he took it over. And they had 2 covers. That's right, we're talking late 80s. B covers, people. They had their A cover, and then they had James O'Barr do the Not for Wussies cover. This is the first one. When he first started doing the Not for Wussies cover, James O'Barr used the moniker, pseudonym Johnny Zero. As you can see there in the lower left corner, Johnny Zero. So what's the big deal of this? What does this have to do with the crow? What this has to do with the crow, if I can get this tape off. Hold up. Some tape is just fucking impossible to get off sometimes. Yeah. For some things, there is no forgiveness. Coming in February, The Crow. Yeah, this is the first image of the crow, essentially. There might have been some like panel-sized advertisements of the crow, but this is your first published glimpse of Eric Draven before it was ever printed. And Caliber Comics Presents issue number 1. Was it Caliber Presents issue number 1? That was, I believe, cover date January 1989. It says coming in February. So I thought it was cover date January. It must have been so some might consider this the first appearance of the crow. I mean, maybe the first published appearance of the crow, but the first appearance in a story, which is a real first appearance, that would be Caliber Presents issue number 1, which is cover date January 1989. The Crow limited series that continued the story of the Crow from that first issue of Caliber Presents. And the Crow limited series from 1989. That first issue came out cover date February 1989, as this is advertising. So there's still some, I don't know, semi-affordable options out there. I mean, those Crow Tundra Press comics, those are going for around 10 to 20 bucks a piece. VF or better condition. There's a Crow 9.8 right now that is up for auction. It's got 0 bids, 6 days and 2 hours left. And the starting bid is at 1,000 Canadian dollars with free 3-day shipping. So go get your bid on. That's up on the eBay's. So yeah, they just finished filming The Crow. That Skarsgård, Eric Skarsgård is the actor. Filming it in Prague, Czech Republic, and in southern Germany, I guess Munich area. Not sure. But I know they're editing The Crow right now. They're done filming. Hell yes. Thank you, James O'Barr. Although that was my 3rd copy of Johnny Zero cover, Dead World 10. This is my first copy of The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, issue number 6. I got it, just wanted to throw in a magazine in my collection, diversify the collection for fun. I showed a previous issue of Kung Fu that I got. I think it was issue number 4. A David Carradine tribute. And then this one does a review of some Bruce Lee movies. Kung Fu. All new. And monthly too. Sons of the Tiger. Show no mercy right here. Like the way that green was popping. Bob Larkin cover out of 1974. Sons of the Tiger. It's a story by Jim Dennis, The Way of the Jackal. We got some George Perez artwork inside here as well. There's also a Shang-Chi story, Lessons of the Locust by Doug Munch. Art by Mike Vosburg. Bob McLeod doing the inks again. Out of October, the fall of 1971. Right when I was born. We got Green Lantern issue number 86. Green Lantern, Green Arrow. More deadlier than the atom bomb. I got this for $76. Did I get ripped off? Never get to see the interior, all ads. All right. What is that? The United States does 85% of the world's heroin consumption. Afghanistan produces 85% of the heroin. So we have all these shortages we're supposed to be told we have to accept because of interruptions, because of this, because of that, the war, pandemic. But then when the United States attacked Afghanistan, wouldn't that have ceased the distribution of heroin then, considering the bullshit narrative of today? And we always have to have shortages and something, carbonated water, or baby formula, or something. But when we invade Afghanistan, that increases the consumption of heroin. It's amazing. We got all those pills being produced out of India, like Oxycontin and Vicodin. For the first time in mankind's history, the flow of opium is being interrupted. Right? We remove trade barriers with GATT becoming the World Trade Organization. We can have our jobs outsourced and automated, and we can pump in synthetic heroin, and then all the powers in the Middle East get pissed. They fly planes into buildings so that we increase the consumption of heroin again. There's a reason we're the #1 consumer so-called country, consumer nation. It was the following issue 87 of Green Lantern, that had the first appearance of John Stewart. But this drug abuse story arc was for 2 issues, issues 85 and 86. And I believe it was Neil Adams' response to the Spider-Man story that Stan Lee had written, the anti-drug story. I think it was like some Department of Health and Human Services had approached Marvel Comics asking them to do a drug awareness, anti-drug use comic. Stan Lee did that story where this guy gets wasted and thinks he can fly, jumps off a building. Something along those lines. And so Neil Adams takes a step further, does this amazing anti-drug story for Green Lantern issues 85 and 86 right here. Wow. And to wrap it up, I got this comic that was created about awareness of what it was like to live during the pandemic. Chose not to be vaccinated. Betsy, how can we go on? Turning the other cheek. Wir müssen, Cory. Wir müssen die Liebe showen. It's stronger than the Hasse. That's what she says in English. I'm translating it. And she's like, I prefer to be called she and her. And he's like, unks, 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 unks. Listening to the German techno disco. So I got that over at 2nd and Charles. Corey Tenboom's The Hiding Place from the early 70s. I think it's out of 73. It's beat up. It's beat shit. Got that for $5. And that's it, y'all. That's it. Just living, thriving, and surviving in the big city, Denver. Yeah. Get me the fuck out of here. Thanks for watching. SOS, get me the fuck out of Denver. God damn. Gotta quit my job. Yeah, 51 years old. I lost my job because I came out here to try and help my sister with her mom, and can't get work because I'm not vaccinated. I had to take this job. This guy is abusive as fuck. I'm not being talked down to. I'm not having people interrupt me, playing head games with me, giving me outdated documentation, trying to show me how I have to be held accountable for doing something incorrectly when I'm given incorrect instructions. You know, there's certain jobs where you have to take that stuff and it'll give you job stability and you'll get ahead. And then there's other jobs where you have to take that shit and it's fucking useless. And I've contracted at Microsoft before. I know it's fucking useless. I'm not keeping this job. I got some interviews lined up. I'm taking something that'll pay much less, take less money to get away from people trying to reprimand me for not following corporate bureaucracies. I'd rather have a job where I'm involved with some form of real work instead of, you know, it's one thing to tell an employee that they have to follow certain check boxes that need to be ticked before you can close your case, say that the work task that you've been given is officially done. Sometimes that's cool, but when that becomes your main work, it feels fucking miserable. Like knowing that I have to go to work tomorrow. So if anybody's in that boat, you're not alone. We got fucked by this pandemic, so now we got to go back to taking work that we're overqualified for and that we had to put up with in order to get real work that I had to lose because of life circumstance. So it's fucked up. Hope everybody that's in this situation knows that you're not alone. Hang in there. It's fucking crazy, the shit that we have to go through again now. To go through those trials and tribulations that we were told we had to go through in order to get that job we wanted later in life when we're building our career. But then now when all that gets taken away from us, I got to go through all that fucking bullshit again? No. I'm going to take a job that pays much less and fuck it. God. So yeah, I get to go back to living destitute and poor. Yay. Fucking crazy. So this is one of the last hauls I'll be doing. I think maybe I got a couple more in me, and then I got to move. I got to get money set aside for, what do you call it, putting shit in storage for the first time in my life. I got to fucking deal with that shit. Got a bunch of stuff that I got to finish going through and now figure out how to sell. And it's just moving back to another time zone again, looking for work again. It is gnarly. There is no hiding place for this, for this world. There is no hiding place. We're fucked. So I don't want to run away from it and hide, and I don't want to fucking do heroin. So it's like, yeah, just smoke some weed and just chill with the green and bide my time. Just keep waiting. Keep my shit together and then just keep waiting. Take that job that pays less money and just keep waiting for something better. Maintain my shit and keep waiting. That's all you can do. Prepare. Be prepared, because when that opportunity comes for a better job or a better living situation, have the money on hand for that first and last month's rent, which I do. Have that money on hand to relocate, which I do. Have those friends available to help or just to be there when you're around, which I do when I get back to Michigan. So it's just a matter of maintaining, getting to the place, and time. And that's what I have to fucking put up with. Past few years have been rough. Next few years probably will be maybe not as rough, but got to transition back to getting my life together again. So all y'all out there that have to make some sacrifices in order to do that, like cutting off certain things, spending on comics, I feel your pain. Feel your pain. And that is my conclusion. Hang in there, time. It's just keeping your shit together, staying prepared, and getting ready for that time. Next day, and then the day after that, if it doesn't happen, then wait for the day after that. Things do turn around. That's why I'm saying this. They're just not going to turn around the way we want it to, when we want it to. So just hang in there. All right. On that note, I float. I gots to get. So I hope y'all have a nice rest of y'all's month in November. I might do another haul this month and one more in December. We'll see. But for now, thanks for watching. Much love. Represent, respect the hobby. Peace.
But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I tell you, it just doesn't matter. 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 It doesn't matter. Even if we win, ha! Even if we win, even if we play so far over our heads that our noses bleed for a week to 10 days, even if God in heaven above comes down and points his hand at our side of the field, even if every man, woman, and child held hands together and prayed for us to win, it just wouldn't matter, because all the really good-looking girls would still go out with the guys from Mohawk because they got all the money. It just